What is up, guys? It's your boy Sport Card Tom back again. Today I have a very important guest, in my opinion, in my eyes, a great friend of mine, somebody who I think I've openly said before, you're the second person I spoke to in the hobby. It's also your second appearance, I believe, on the Slabstocks FC show. Here is Giselle. Adam, welcome.
Thanks for having me. It is an honor to be back on the Slabstocks program with you, Tom. Yes, I would consider us very close. I would consider us very close friends for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, Adam came on, I think it was about three or 4 months ago. You spoke with Aaron about your sort of understanding, your experience at the National and Mbappe and Prism Mbappe and stuff like that. And that sort of modern era of sports cards. And obviously, I think you and I both agree that 2017, 2018 era of sports cards, especially for soccer, is going to be one of probably the most influential years for the sets that came out for the hobby. But today we're gonna throw it into something a bit different, a bit more old school, I guess you could say. Cards which are sort of hot right now. I mean, we're going to be talking about the Cristiano Ronaldo sale for the Mega Craques number 137, number 137, which sold previously at Golden Auctions. I think it was Saturday night for $205,000, 200. So, I mean, straight away, I'm going to ask the question, do you feel that price for the Cristiano Ronaldo rookie card, which sold, do you think it's underpriced, overpriced, or properly priced? What do you think?
So I think I talked about it a while back, probably on YouTube at some point. I think that card, the Ronaldo card, and I think the Messi card as well, I could easily see those being $1 million cards. Yep. Like, just from the fact that Jordan is almost hitting $1 million now. I think we're going to see a little bit of a dip in the price. I think what happened with those Jordan cards was somebody with a lot of money was just like, I'm going to buy this card no matter what the price is. So I think that maybe that Jordan card sees a little bit of a dip. I do think eventually that Jordan card becomes $1 million. And then if you're comparing the relevancy of Ronaldo and Messi to Jordan, I think it's very close. Like, I think, and especially with the cards, because there is only 10% of the Ronaldo. Like, I think there's like 38 or 39 of the PSA 10 Ronaldos versus 300 and almost 20 of the PSA 10 Jordans. Now, obviously, there's that sticker that I think will be similarly priced. I could almost see the sticker and the card being priced similarly the way that the Jordan sticker and card is priced. But even though that the sticker is older from 2002, I still think that, I mean, I think underpriced, undervalued, underrated. I think that Ronaldo card, even though it's gone up almost, it was like 5,000 at this point last year. Now it's over 200,000. I still think it's a phenomenal card that I think is super underrated.
Yeah, and I mean, so that's one of the main things. So for me personally, I feel like it is very undervalued, underpriced. But that's one of the main reasons I wanted to get you onto the show, is because I actually remember watching the TikTok of you, basically stating and sort of giving the facts around that sale when it actually happened for, I think it was $4,700 just over a year ago. So I mean, leading into that, do you feel like it's warranted how fast the prices increase from then to now? Do you think a year is it's too fast? Do you think it's accumulated that much value so too fast, or do you think it's sort of a bit behind the projection of where it should be in the future?
So, soccer was the second largest sport to grow on eBay in terms of sales in 2020. It was, I think, around 300%. Basketball was obviously first with over 300%. I don't remember the exact numbers. I know they were both in that 300% range. So I think that the increase is very wild. Like, I think the previous record for that card was like 41. It was between 41 and, or it was either 41 or 51. I forget the exact number. But, I think that last auction had a lot of juice. Like, I think there was a ton of publicity around those Jordan cards. And I think somebody who looked at that Ronaldo card similarly to how I look at it, I think they may have just looked at it and said, I'm going to pay for this card whatever I can pay for it right now, because I don't know when the next one's going to sell. Like with the Jordan, I think, for example, that one could sell. Like, we've seen like 3 to 4 to 5 sell per month. I think that number is going to continue to go down to where we may only see like 10 to 15 sell per year eventually. Yep. But with this Ronaldo card, like, that Ronaldo card sells like one every 2 or 3 months. So it's
I mean, it's 38 pop. It's a pop of 38, so it's,
right,
it's
exactly.
very hard to find as it is.
Exactly. And I think at this point, if someone's buying, like I think the person that bought it at 41 or 51, like I said, whatever the previous record was, and then this card, I don't think people are going to be selling it anytime soon. So you take two that I think probably won't sell, and that brings it down to 36. So it's like the number of cards there are in circulation of this, the Mega Craques card, just to me seems like a card that, yes, I maybe think, I think it maybe was a little bit overpriced in terms of what they paid for it right now currently, but I think we're sort of setting a new market. And I think if someone, like I said, if they're looking at that card similar to the Jordan card, they're looking at Ronaldo as maybe, you know, the second most relevant or maybe the most relevant athlete of all time. So it's like, I think that card has the reputation behind it. And with so few of them, that's kind of where I see the price. That's why I think it's sold for what it's sold for.
Okay, so that kind of leads it into my next question. It kind of bridges it because I was going to actually ask, do you feel like the price which is at now is going to be sustained for the next couple of days? Or it could have even increased now since the sale, but do you feel like it's going to sustain this price now for, you know, say the next couple of months until we see the actual next auction of another Mega Craques? Or do you feel like it's increased, or do you feel like it's just a bit lower of where it was actually sold for? Because obviously, I think it was $171,000 before the fees. So, but obviously we base it on what the actual final price is after fees, just like you would if it was eBay. But do you feel like that price is sustained? Do you feel like it's currently going to be that price now until the next one comes up? Or do you feel like it's overpriced, underpriced? That obviously you've answered it a little bit about where you feel the value of it is right now. But do you feel like that price is going to be sustained until we see the next one? Or do you think it'll be lower or higher than what we just saw?
You know, I think we have to probably see a Messi sell as well to see what that's going to sell for. Now, if that Messi card goes for $250, the PSA 10, you know, obviously that price is going to sustain. I think with so few of them, like I had mentioned, it's hard to really say whether the next one is going to sell for that price or if it's going to go down. Like I do think that, like I said, with the Jordan price, I don't know for sure. So I don't know who bought these Jordan cards, but I think it was somebody who, because the opportunity cost, I think that's kind of what happened with the Jordan card, and same with this Ronaldo card. Someone looked at it and said, you know, the next sale of this card could be $300,000 or $400,000 if I don't pull the trigger on this card right now, just because of how many there are. So, you know, I think it's tough to say with that card specifically because of how few there are. But I would say that card probably got a lot, or I mean, it was the most important, honestly, from all of the cards, even including the Jordan cards. That the Ronaldo card was the most important card to me that sold in that auction. For it to sell over $200K, like, I don't know if that's the most expensive soccer card of all time, but it's got to be in the top 10, top 5. Right, there's a Pele card, right? So it's in the top 5.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
So, you know, I think if we see a Messi card sell relatively soon, that could end up changing the price of the Ronaldo card. But I think it's too early to tell whether we're going to see an increase or a decrease, or if the next one sells for $200,000 like this last one did.
And I think you've kind of sort of hit the nail on the head for the question I was going to ask next, because I was going to ask whether you feel like Messi's price will increase now that this Ronaldo card has obviously hit what it has hit. I mean, some comparable ones is obviously you look at like that gold Prism Mbappe, it sold for what, like $124,000 like last year. And obviously I think what was the last recorded sale for Messi, was it 116,000 or something?
Yes. I think it was 41,000, because I remember both of those cards sold in the same time frame. Yeah. So I think that Messi was like 116 and the Ronaldo was 41, and even when it was 47. 47. Right. So it's like, even when that card was 47, I looked at it and I said, well, sure, there's a sticker, but the Messi card is 116. Those cards shouldn't be so widely different in price. Like, they should be much closer. You know, even though I'm not sure how many Messis there are, I'm sure it's probably a similar number. But 20, like
21 or 22 Messi.
Right, exactly. So it's a very similar number.
For me, the sort of difference between the Messi and Ronaldo, there isn't really a difference besides the pop. Obviously, Ronaldo's nearly at 20 more pop, or 18, 16 more than him. But it's an interesting one because I feel like it comes down very much to like it doesn't come down to who's more marketable. When you look at the players and you think who's the more marketable without the card prices or anything that's tied to that, you look at Ronaldo and you think he's probably the more marketable player for for social media. He's got the biggest social media presence. I mean, you look at him, you think Ronaldo, but I personally feel that the Mega Crack 71 Messi could do more than that Ronaldo Mega Cracks, which we just saw sold. Again, I feel like it's going to come down to the individual looking to buy the card, and like you say, it's going to come down to the scarcity of these cards. You know, if there's a super big Ronaldo fan out there who loves Ronaldo and he wants to add this Ronaldo Mega Cracks to his collection, and he's got the wealth to do that, he's not going to stop at any cost to get this card.
Right.
And the same goes for Messi. I think it's very, very situational in terms of who's looking to actually add this to their collection and look at, like you said, the opportunity of it. Maybe it's a bit over the price right now, but down the road, like you say, it's easy $1 million. Like these cards are going to get out of hand, especially with how short the print run is compared to the likes of like LeBron now and Jordan back then. Like it's super interesting. I feel like it's going to be an interesting style when that Messi comes up for auction. So just following on from that, obviously Messi, Ronaldo are always going to be the two talked hand in hand. Do you feel like the sale of the Ronaldo, at least, obviously pending the Messi, whenever one of those pops up, do you feel like that's now opened some sort of market for players who maybe aren't being spoke about as much around that, like not that era, but like sort of like your Ronaldinho's, your Ronaldo Nazario, like your Johan Cruyff, Zinedine Zidane? Do you feel like there's a market now? Do you think people are going to move to that? Because people usually see the opportunity in a big sale like that and think, what's next? Like, what can I find which is next? And then I feel like people start to sort of go back to the players they remember from World Cups or previous Euros or previous Champions League winners like Maldini and stuff like that. Do you feel like there's going to be a shift in terms of right now it's very, very sort of rookie, it's very sort of modern, like orientated? Do you feel like this is now going to be like prompting people to think, okay, let's start to liquidate these products, let's start to liquidate my rookies, my cards, and let's try and move it into something a bit more solid, like Messi, Ronaldo's, these Zinedine Zidanes and stuff like that? Do you feel like we're going to see that shift in the market right now?
Yeah, 100%. I think we're seeing it in basketball. I've seen, honestly, the shift happen from, like, when I first got back into sports cards, it was prospecting, it was Bowman Chrome. Those were the only cards that anybody cared about in 2018. And then going into 2019, kind of that summer, there was soccer it grew a little bit in that summer. And it was a lot of like Mbappe, and it was a lot of like 2014 Prism, and it was a lot of just Prism cards. And I think we are starting to see a shift in just the market in general, away from, players like Zion and players like Ja into players like Kobe, Jordan, LeBron. So I think that, and I think the one thing with soccer too is the supply is so low for everyone. Like, it's not just like, it's not like you're moving from Luka's Prism, which has 15,000, to LeBron's Topps Chrome, which probably is in the 3,000 to 4,000. You're maybe moving from an Mbappe Prism, which has 2,000. It may probably a little bit more, probably like 2,500 now, to like a Zidane or like any of these other older players who have less than maybe 100. So it's like, I think the scale is there when it comes to prospecting like basketball, and then with soccer, I think the scale is also there. So that's kind of how, I think in general, the market's moving there, because I think a lot of newer, wealthier people are going to come into the market who look at, they're going to be interested in prospects because it's always just something that the hobby likes. But I just don't think that, the newer investors coming in are going to look at it and say, what makes more sense, a Ronaldo, Messi, or like a Phil Foden or a Kai Havertz? It's like they're going to look at those two and they're just going to say the Ronaldo, Messi make way more sense, even though they're way more expensive. It just makes more sense for them. Yeah,
I mean, the reason I asked that question, and just to sort of give a disclaimer, I got accused shortly last week for trying to pump and dump Match Attacks. I don't own Match Attacks, but
classic Tom.
The reason I want to just give a disclaimer is I own 2 of the Upper Deck SP Authentic 2004 Cristiano Ronaldos. So I just want to clear that up before. I'm not trying to pump the price. I'm not trying to, create this hype around the cards I own. But as of this sale, this Ronaldo sale, we've seen a lot of the later year stuff. So anything from 2003 Manchester United, anything from 2004 Manchester United, starting to be bought up and bought up for, these insane prices. I think we saw a 2003 Cristiano Ronaldo upper deck sell for like $21,000, $22,000 literally 2 days ago or yesterday. And it's insane because I feel people are starting to notice, okay, right, this is crazy. Like, especially with the Euros coming up this year, this summer. I think people are starting to realize, okay, yeah, we need to start putting, these rookies like which aren't performing well right now and start investing into something a lot harder. Because if Ronaldo was to retire tomorrow, it's still Ronaldo. He's won 5 Champions Leagues, 4 Ballon d'Ors. He's just behind Messi in the Ballon d'Or category. He's cemented as a legend. He is. I mean, I was talking about it with one of my friends the other day. I personally feel with Cristiano Ronaldo, and I'm a Ronaldo fan over Messi. I personal, it's a bias because I'm a United fan, but this is probably the last 2 people with Messi and Ronaldo who we're going to see. Like, I can't think of these next up-and-coming players who are going to dedicate everything to the sport like Ronaldo and Messi did. Who are going to be sort of like nothing else matters but football. Like, social media has a big impact on these youthful like players, and I feel like it can restrict them from having that, unlocking their full potential. But when you look at like Ronaldo and Messi, they did everything they could to be the best players in the world. They didn't stop playing football. And I feel like that's what people are starting to realize now is we're in this era now, these next 4 to 6 years, where we're never going to see these players play again after that, like not professionally at this level. So I feel like people are starting to liquidate a lot of their products and move them into their, if it's not their true rookie or rookies, they're trying to move it into stuff which is closer to their rookie because it's got a bigger claim to being closer to that rookie. I feel like we're going to see like 2006 World Cup and, the 2006 goal, like Messi and Ronaldo cards have a huge increase because they're already quite high right now. But I think that's crazy. So I mean, leading into the next question, do you feel like the prices of these cards, not just the mega cracks and the Messi 71, do you feel like the prices around the cards like from that era, so like 2004, 5, 6, are going to see an increase now as we lead up to the Euros and the World Cup coming up in 2022?
Yeah, so I think. So I have two points here from what you were just saying. So I think Messi and Ronaldo they transcended this generation's soccer. They made, and I'm obviously somebody who has followed soccer more closely recently than I did probably in my like college days. But I look at it and say they made soccer mainstream for this generation. Like they revolutionized kind of not the game, but the way that you play the game almost, and being, like you said, being the top players in the world for almost their whole careers, like almost very similar to like how very similar to LeBron. So, I think there's that aspect of Messi and Ronaldo that I think is sort of underrated. And I think so then the other thing about the social media. So I think it's kind of a balancing act there where I think the social media, for basketball, I think social media, like there's accounts like House of Highlights and Overtime that highlight younger players. There's maybe similar ones. There's one called
Rising Ballers.
Wonder Kids, I think is one. There's like Gold. There are accounts that focus on like youth teams. Yeah. So, I think coming up through the era of social media, people know who these players are much more quickly than maybe in the 2003, 2004, 2005 range. LeBron, obviously, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, anointed as the next Jordan, like as a 10-year-old, basically. So it's like, Ronaldo and Messi, they came into the sport probably as I'm not 100% sure, but 16 or 17 years old. I'm imagining that's probably when they kind of started their careers. I don't necessarily know if they were looked that way the same, and then they kind of just played their way into being the best players in the world. Like, I'm not 100% sure exactly that happened, but like, I just think that those older cards with the supply of these cards and the potential for demand, I think is why I kind of saw soccer as like almost a no-brainer to get into, because the potential, soccer being a worldwide sport, it has the potential demand of the most important sport in the world. So like with that, and then also there not being a lot of cards, like there not being a lot of second, third, fourth, fifth year Messis and Ronaldos, I just viewed that as another reason why soccer makes a lot of sense compared to, not to compare it to basketball, but like with rookies in basketball now, and I always compare this, like Luka, 15,000 PSA 10 Prism cards. That's just one set. He has like 100 different cards. So, but Messi and Ronaldo, this is like, these are their 2 to 5 cards that they have at the beginning of their career. So it's like, I just looked at it that way. So to answer your question, yes, I think that these earlier cards in their career will eventually see increases similar to like what's going on with Jordan right now. Like the second, third, fourth year Jordans, those are going up pretty significantly as well. So I think the same thing kind of happens with the Messi, Ronaldos, and any of the kind of GOATs that came up in that era of soccer.
Yeah, I mean the basketball. I mean, it's even though it's subject SC, I agree with you. I feel like basketball, the way the basketball market sort of, like you said, unraveled and the soccer market sort of is now. Besides, obviously, the limited quantity of cards, it's a lot lower than it was for basketball. There's a lot of great things which compare, and obviously, if you contrast both of them, they do look very similar in the way that the trajectory of the overall hobby is going to look for them. I'm excited. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, when I saw that, I was a bit heartbroken. Personally, my only goal was to own a PSA 10 Mega Craques Ronaldo. So, I mean, it seems very, very unattainable now. But we're going to draw this episode to a close. But there's one thing I want to do. I'm not sure if you've seen it on the other previous episodes. I just want to ask. I think it's a series of 6 questions, quick fire. Just want one-word answers. What your honest opinions and thoughts are, just to see how you stack up against the rest of the guys and see maybe in the future have you got some of your predictions right. So, first question is: who do you think will win the Euros?
I think it's probably Portugal. Okay. I think I just think Joao and Ronaldo, I think they're going to be good, and I think hopefully Ronaldo passes the torch to Joao. I'm going to say Portugal. Honestly, I'm following the U.S. a little bit more. So world soccer, I guess. If the U.S. was in it, I'd say U.S. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of so I'm going to say Portugal.
I've picked Portugal myself. I think Portugal are going to do it. So obviously a bit more topic related. Messi or Ronaldo? No context.
Messi,
okay. I think that's 2-1 or 2-2. I'm not sure. I can't remember. So one player who you haven't invested in yet, but would like to. So it can be. I think we'll keep it soccer related.
I guess Haaland. Like
okay. I was the same.
I'll say I do have a few of his Topps living set cards, but I bought those for like $6 a piece. I think when they were available. But those are the only Haaland cards that I have, and he's a player that he was one of the players that I was like, watch out for this player, and then he moves to Dortmund, and I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe this. Like, this is awesome. So yeah, Haaland is one of the players that I haven't invested in. That his card price are kind of crazy, so that's probably the reason why. But he's probably a player that I haven't invested in that I would like to.
Okay, so this one's a bit more opinionated. Who is the GOAT of football? Who, in your opinion, who do you think the GOAT is? You can pick the same answer as well. You can pick the same player you've already previously picked.
Oh, I mean, I guess I would say Pele, just because I think if you ask anyone about soccer, I think this is how you determine who the GOAT is. Is you ask someone who the best player ever is, and there are players that were good that people have never heard of. There's probably tons of great players from that same era, but everybody knows Pele. Everybody. So I would say he's probably the GOAT. Or Maradona, I guess, would be my second.
Pele had stamps. Brazil could send a letter with a stamp like that to have your. That was ridiculous. So
right.
Final question: Fati or Haaland? Just something like younger generation. Who's your favorite out of the both?
I love both of them. But I guess I do have to go with Haaland because I think that was because Fati's definitely second. From the other question, that Fati's definitely second. Which actually I do have a Fati Mega Craques 2019, which I'm super happy that I got for $18. The December of 2019, I bought one of the cards for $19 when the set had kind of first come out. So that was one card that I was glad that I need to send a PSA, but that's a card that I have that I'm pretty excited about.
I picked up 5 for $1 each.
You'd love to see it.
Okay, so that's going to be the end of this episode. Everyone, thank you for watching. Adam, 30 seconds. Where can people find you? I know you've been on before, but where can people find you? You're producing great content for people to view for free daily. Where are you sort of looking for people to find you now?
So YouTube is where I've been focusing a lot of time, and I would love for people to check out my YouTube channel. If you have to search heroes for sale as one word, unfortunately, because Google hasn't adjusted my SEO stuff. So if you search heroes for sale as multiple words, it won't show up. So heroes for sale. I also have a podcast on YouTube, or excuse me, on Spotify and Apple Music, but then you can also find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and then Clubhouse too. I guess I'm on there. I don't really do.
Can't get on there.
Yeah, Clubhouse.
I'll make sure
another place that's pretty interesting. But those are the places where you can find me. But YouTube, go to YouTube because I'm trying to grow that.
We'll put your YouTube in the description below. So awesome. if you do go and subscribe, let us know. Let us both know. Give us any feedback. But Adam, thank you for coming on. Like I said, he's a great friend of mine. You're a great person to talk to. Very knowledgeable. Make sure you go check out all of his social medias, his pages, his YouTube, especially because he is trying to grow that. If you are new here, I appreciate you watching to this point in the video. Make sure you subscribe, like, hit the notification bell to get notified when we post a video live on the Slabstox YouTube page. And any feedback you've got from this video, let me know. Thank you for watching.